And emotional day in Las Vegas, a year now since a gunman killed 58 people and injured hundreds more. Fans attending a country music festival. The investigation into the massacre is still ongoing. A year later, and Las Vegas is still struggling and with what happened, and the city still has not fully recovered. There were moments of silence and services held throughout the day. Friends and family honored the 58 people who were killed as they were enjoying a night of music on the Strip on this night 1 year ago.
This evil and darkness cannot take over us, our families, or our lives. Together, we are Vegas strong.
President Trump marked the anniversary today at the White House. He said he is sending his thoughts and prayers to victims of what he called a horrible, horrible time in the life of our country. And now that we are 1 year removed from that tragedy, many victims are coming forward, sharing their story of what they went through that night and what they've been through this last year. Tara Adams of Meridian is one of the survivors of that night. Both she and her husband were there. And Tara, thank you so much for coming on the program and talking with me again. I know you and I talked less than 24 hours after the shooting happened in Vegas, and I never will forget that interview, Tara, because you were visibly, obviously shaken by the events of that. I remember you saying, "When's it going to stop? When's it going to stop?" referring to the gunfire. How are you doing today?
Surprisingly, so much better. It's amazing what 1 year can do, you know, as far as the healing process and moving forward. It doesn't happen easily, you know, definitely therapy, definitely needing the support of family and friends, getting past those little triggers that will pop up at times, and you can't predict them, and just having people around that understand. And
triggers like a PTSD that we hear so much about with people suffering from that. What are the triggers? What brings back those memories?
There's certain sounds, definitely fireworks, the sounds of gunfire, seeing people on the dropping to the ground, dark, crowded places with music. So just certain sights. I've even had certain smells that have been triggers, but definitely more than anything, it is the sound. The sound is the most powerful trigger, and it's taken time to move past that.
What are the smells?
Vendors.
Like a concert type of smell.
Yeah, concert. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And those are all triggers for you. Yeah. Before we talk too much about what it's been like this last year, walk me through that night. Somewhat briefly, I know, just because we are under some time constraints here, but what it was like the moments that those shots began to fire.
I think a lot of people have heard already the confusion, just the absolute confusion, and not knowing where the fire was coming from was the most difficult part. You just did not know where to run. You did not know whether to run. So many people were yelling to lay down, to stay, lay down, get flat. And that makes sense if you have a shooter coming in on foot. But that is not what you want to do when if we would have known.
You didn't know they was coming down.
No, we didn't find out. Most of us didn't find out till the next morning. So, I mean, for me, going to the Mandalay Bay is not a trigger, because it was not even part of our connection to that experience. We had no idea at that time where the gunfire was coming from. But you know, as people are scrambling, and I'm fully hard of hearing, so I had no sense of direction as far as where the sound was coming from. So I was very reliant on my husband, and I kept looking at his face, trying to understand. That's not a sound I ever expected to hear. It's not something so I kept looking at his face to guide me and to know where it was coming from and where we needed to go. But definitely the very worst part is the continuation, the duration of the sound. It just felt like it went on forever.
And so you were one of the survivors invited to attend this last weekend. There was a reunion benefit, a concert, and you were made aware of that through some private Facebook groups, Route 91 survivor Facebook pages. You all consider yourself a pretty strong family, don't you, Tara?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the reunion and what it was like to be there.
Well, they call it the Route 91 Survivors Family Reunion, and truly it was so much a sense of family, because there are so few people who can really fully relate or understand that type of experience. So to be around other people who understood that there was no. There was just that instant connection. It's hard to explain, but it was beautiful. And all over Las Vegas, you saw people walking around town, you know, wearing their 91 t-shirts, and you would see somebody else and you would just look at each other, and it was just that instant
bond. A bond.
Just that it was beautiful. It was an amazing experience.
Well, I'm glad that certainly has helped you through the healing, being able to attend this last weekend's event. I know tonight a lot of country music stations are going to be doing a moment of silence. I remember texting you when I was getting on the airplane. You had already made your way back to Boise and to Meridian, and I said, I hope you're doing well, and you said, I can't wait to be home safe. Yeah. Good to be home that night, and now. Yeah,
but
indeed.
To have my kids in my arms again. Yeah.
I want to close with something that Tara shared with me and now wants to share with all of you. It's a Facebook post that she wrote. And tell me again, though, when you wrote it.
Just this morning.
Just this morning. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you mind to read that? You said that you.
Sure.
Okay, great. Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Pardon the length.
Okay.
2 years ago, this month, I wore these boots on one of the most beautiful nights of my life, my wedding night. I didn't wear them again for a full year out of fear of getting them dirty. Last year, on October 1st, 2017, I excitedly put them on again for what turned out to be the most horrific night of my life. While over 20,000 fellow country music-loving family members swayed together at Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas, a lone gunman unleashed his personal anger and hatred, leaving over 800 bodies maimed and injured, 58 human family members dead, and countless lives forever changed. Sadly, as survivors, friends, and family members have worked to heal and move forward, many of us have felt crushingly silenced by the deep political divide in our society. Efforts to share our feelings, our recovery, and lessons learned engender a firestorm of comments from people who are offended by the sharing of our trauma and see our experiences as threats to their Second Amendment rights. Others use our stories to push their gun control agenda. None of us asked to be witnesses to the carnage that night. None of the fallen volunteered to die so that others could push their agenda. When people experience trauma and decide to open up about it, please don't stifle their message with your own. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, the very best and worst moments of our life are fleeting. Yet we spend so much of our time fearfully dreading and attempting to prevent the worst while obsessing and longing for the best. Ironically, it's all the moments in between that our lives are surpassingly spent, and the ones that the majority of us are missing out on. I've discovered that it's the wonderment of these ordinary moments that truly make life extraordinary. Folks, I've decided to put my boots on again because they carry both light and darkness, love and hate, kindness and evil on their souls. I don't fear these opposites anymore, for without the searing pain of darkness, I could not fully appreciate the sparkling wonder of light. On this one-year anniversary, please join me in honoring our human family members lost, injured, and impacted by that dark night. Please, everyone, hug freely today without discrimination or divide. For 1 year ago, 58 country folk gave out their last one.
Tara, thank you.
Thank you.
You're Vegas strong. Thank you so much for sharing that. You've got your boots back on. Thank you.